Welcome back to the H1Z1 Arena and the Legends Invitational. It's true, I am Jose Sanchez, and I'm wearing my hizzy suit because it means I'm here for business, but I also like to party, and you're about to watch three intense back-to-back matches. Will Radic or Inbox defend their title? Will Sweet Dreams continue his tournament streak? Will I ever leave this stage? Or will we find a new #1 contender? Before we get to that, we're going to find out exactly what H1Z1 is for all of you who should already be familiar.
Welcome to H1Z1, a fast-paced, action-packed, single-elimination, massive arena shooter. Each match begins with up to 150 players dropping into the arena across a 100 square kilometer map. You start the game with nothing, so once your feet hit the ground, be ready to grab weapons, gear, and vehicles as you get into the action. Watch out, because as the match progresses, a toxic green gas begins creeping into the arena, pushing everybody towards the safe zone. You can survive the gas for a short time, but the longer the match goes, the deadlier it becomes. And if the gas doesn't kill you, there are 149 other players trying to. So play it smart and make every shot count, because only the last person standing will claim victory, and then the whole battle begins again.
And the Legends Invitational has some of the best H1 players from all around the world. Players including the 2016 defending champions Inboxes and Radic, as well as popular personalities like Ninja, Flamehopper, Stormin, Gotaga, Iceco. 3 matches are gonna happen right before your very eyes, consisting of scores. They're gonna be a mixture of placement and kills. There's a $250,000 prize pool, with the winner coming out with, 80 grand, which is all in a day's work. The top 10 kills is gonna get you a little extra cash. You get for the most kills in each match, you get $5,000, so that's a little incentive if you're not trying to play it safe. As I mentioned earlier, players from all around the world, players from Australia, Brazil, Sweden, China, Korea, France, America, they've all gathered here today for one hell of an experience. And hopefully somebody's gonna leave a whole lot richer. And we've got Kelly Link on stage to talk to some players. Kelly. Just kidding. Just kidding, I wasn't talking to Kelly. We actually have our casters who are gonna start things off because Kelly is over there and our casters are right there.
We're right here. We're right here, Jose, and we're ready to start this one off. We got a lot of the housekeeping out of the way. My name is Rich Campbell, and I am joined by Jason Supersonic Burns, ready to start this one off. Can already see we got our 75 Legends in seats.
Yeah, 75 Legends sat down, was walking around, kind of talking with them. A couple of them got nerves, a lot of them ready to just get in and play, just want to get this going. They definitely want to start exchanging some blows.
Yeah, we already heard quite a bit about the format. Obviously, a huge prize pool on the line. But one of the nice things is when Jose was actually talking about all that, we were speaking to the players. I know I got to talk to Cloaksy a little bit, knowing him for quite some time. And one of the big things that he was saying, with the competition so fierce like it is here today, with 75 of the best players being invited from across the world, there are certain players that some players are a little bit more scared of. So in his particular scenario, he was saying there are 20 players that he's really looking for in the kill feed. And once they go down, he's going to be a little bit more confident. But also, if you start seeing names in the kill feed, even if the person did win the exchange, you want to maybe collapse on them, try to get the pinch going, and eliminate them when they're a little bit down in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You definitely want to be able to make those plays. And typically, you want to take that pinch play if you can. If that person's available and you know that they were just in exchange, they're in a weak spot, go ahead and knock them out. But yeah, if there's a guy that you are worried about and you've got an open shot on him, eliminate him there. But you want those guys to start falling off. You're going to feel more and more comfortable as it goes on. 1, you're getting closer and closer to money. 2, you're getting closer and closer to first because you know that the other guy that could take it from you is already out of the match.
Yeah, so of course, as we have mentioned, $250,000 are going to be on the line here. First place taking $80,000 of that, but we should really talk about the faces that some of these guys are saying that they are worried about. Already mentioned by Jose was Sweet Dreams. Obviously a very strong contender, but also Prox and Aladdin came out in a big way when we were back at DreamHack. I feel like these are players that players are going to be keeping an eye on as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Isco's here, who qualified in last year and is now on the invite list for this one. He showed up big in qualifiers, showed up on the actual LAN that in the finals that one too. And then we've got other players that were really strong competitors that just, that first game last year, much like it was this year in Challengers, was just absolutely stacked. So we had players that got knocked out, and last year it was only the winner that went on. So we got guys like Nightwalker and Flamehopper who got really close to getting in, but didn't make it last year, and they're on the invite list this year. So those guys are going to have an attempt at this.
Yeah, and this format slightly more forgiving, right?
Yeah,
so we're
absolutely.
gonna have 3 games here, and the main thing is going to be placement is worth points. Kills are also going to be worth points. So when we actually do look at everything, if you maybe come out and have a really bad first game, you know, you drop right next to someone that you don't want to be against, you're not able to pick up a weapon right off the rip, you get taken down early, you can come back in those next 2 games, get a solid finish, and actually take the entire thing. So if you manage to get first, you just get so many points. We already saw just how much that can ripple out.
Oh yeah, first place definitely gets you up there. I mean, getting a first place, you can feel pretty comfortable as long as you don't have 2 just absolutely horrible, like first death type of games. You should be in that top 10. Getting a first place puts you up there. I mean, that's a ton of points for first. And back to the players really quick. I mean, we have the winners from last year as well. So we have Radic and Inboxes here again, seeing if maybe they can repeat. And it looks like we got Flame up on camera, juggling some fruit a little bit there.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly how you are supposed to prepare for this Legends Invitational.
That's how you get warm. And the other guys aren't onto it. They haven't caught on to it, and not quite privy to it. Flamehopper's going to be warm going in. He's getting the hands. He's getting the, you know, he's
got to get that blood flowing before you do jump in here, especially when you are going to be playing against all of the best players in the world. But the other thing to note, when we talk about money, it's definitely going to affect how people play. They're going to try to target that high placement, obviously, but certain players may just go for kills. We saw this play out yesterday when we actually jumped in and did that All-Stars Invitational, 5K for each match for whoever brings in the top kills.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that definitely played in. We saw some of the guys in the All-Stars, once they start getting into those third games where they're like, I've got no chance at making top 10 at this point, I want money still. So then they just started going for kills. They started chasing it down. We saw some crazy stuff in the last game. Who was it that launched the car? I mean, we just saw people going for insane jump outs. It was a lot of fun in Game 3.
Yeah, just rushing in, trying to make these close range scenarios, things like that. People actually turning on the sirens in their police cars. So it was just one of those things where a lot of players just try to go for kills. When we get here today, a few of the players were saying, you know, that 5K is a huge incentive. Maybe we'll just go for that 5K. But I don't necessarily think that's the best way to go about it. Flame off once again. But I think the main thing is if you go for those kills early on, you're not going to be able to get to the late game, which is where we usually see that big windfall of kills.
Yeah, absolutely. So, and I think that it is going to have some effect. I mean, the $5,000 has an effect, but first place is $80K. Like, until you get to Game 3, I just don't know if there's anybody in this lineup. We saw people in All-Stars yesterday do it in Game 1 and Game 2. I just don't know that I would expect any of these guys, after knowing them for as long as I have, I don't see them going for that in Game 1, Game 2.
Well, that's the big thing, too. I mean, if you're invited here, you kind of have to have that confidence that you can take that 80K, that you can take that 50K for second place. So, I mean, even if you do come in 10th place, you're still going to be netting $2,000.
I mean, for some of these guys, they're coming from all the way around the world. You got a $5,000 trip that you're on already. I mean, $5,000 is a break-even point. That doesn't feel good. You want to walk away and go back with more than you came with.
Yeah, exactly. I think the main thing is if you don't go for a top finish, you're probably not going to be able to get the top kills. I think that's just something that we really did see yesterday in All-Stars. Like, look, the top kills, I'm not sure if it was every time. I know in at least 2 games, top kills went to, actually no, it was all 3 games. Top kills actually went to the number 1 finish. So when we jump in here, it's like I don't necessarily
pays off.
I kind of feel like the 5K is almost was just a bonus yesterday for coming in first place.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, you're able to isolate fights more when you get down to the lower player counts, and everybody's starting to want to play for first. That guy that can play aggressive but play it smart to where he's cutting the angle so that he's not getting pinched, but he's able to isolate one-on-one fights, has a much higher chance of getting a high kill total. Those end games is really where you get all of those kills. You're not trying to get knocked out early. You start feeling more comfortable towards the end. You start settling in towards the ends of these matches. The beginning is the the really stressful part. Somebody could be around any corner. You start knowing where everybody is at the end. And these guys definitely, with the number of hours they have, after hearing where fights are, they'll be able to tell the distance. They'll know exactly where everybody's at, and they'll be able to isolate one-on-ones.
Well, we have talked about what we expect to see out of the players, but it is time to actually see what they are going to do. Jump in and get this one started. We're about to get in game. TwitchCon has been absolutely insane. We've seen challengers, we've gotten to see all-stars, but now it is time to kick it off with our legends jumping in right now. Let's see how this break looks. Coming in, we are going to jump right on to Flamehopper. You saw him juggling. Now let's see what he can do in this scavenging portion of the game.
Early cop car, gonna be able to grab one, and Gabe is gonna snatch one out from Jordy. So he's gonna have a vehicle as he goes ahead and takes off. And you are gonna see a lot of tags here today, which is a little bit different than what we saw during All-Stars. A lot of these guys gonna be rocking their organization tags, so you'll be able to see what pro orgs they're playing for. Sweet Dreams, our winner of DreamHack Atlanta, playing for Rogue. Getting a little, needs a helmet still, got a shotgun, got a AK there, so he's got a little bit of short range, a little bit of long range, needs to get a few more items there. Definitely not going to feel comfortable. This opening phase is going to play a little bit slower. I don't expect us to see kills quite as quickly as we did in All-Stars. These guys are playing for the win.
Now we're jumping on with another member of Rogue, and we could see getting those early helmets definitely going to be really important. Want to be able to stockpile quite a few of those in this early phase of the game. Now we're going to be jumping on with a player from Echo Fox. But that first kill going to come in right now. It looks like we're actually going to see World's Best Gaming Rogue going down.
Yeah, Rogue from World Best going to go down to Thump from Rogue. And we've got Howie here, and it looks like he was in a fight with somebody at some point, was able to get away, though, and get a little bit of loot. He's going to heal up. Aqua here coming up on to Noble Monster. He definitely doesn't know that he's there yet. They're not close enough to hear each other. We'll see if they run into each other at some point. But Aqua going to hang out here for a second. It looks like he's probably shredding a couple items, making some bandages, just trying to get his loot up, trying to get more resources to use for the late game. One of the other things that we probably didn't see too much of in the All-Stars yesterday is that these guys are picking up all the random shirts, everything off the ground to shred them and have enough bandages to make it into the end of the game. So yeah, a lot of those guys probably didn't have those resources. These guys are much more methodical in their looting.
Expecting to see quite a few changes as we actually do jump in with Legends. This is the absolute pinnacle of play. When we saw All-Stars, yeah, there were a lot of faces that we love to see play the game, and extremely entertaining, but some of their decisions going to be a little bit questionable from time to time.
Yeah,
with challengers, you also have a more stratified group as well. I think we saw some of that top-level play, and we saw some players that maybe were not quite on the same level as that top tier. But now when we do jump in right now, we are only seeing the best, and we're going to see this first safe zone right now. It's got a little bit of PV and a little bit of Harris Bluffs, and right now, we do see some, lifted, getting into a little bit of a fight right now, and this is the start of that war of attrition.
This is two monster players, Lifted and Sharima. Both were battling it out in some of the preseasons for first place on that leaderboard, so both these guys are absolute monster shots. Looks like we're not going to see that engagement happen for too long, and back to the way that this was set up, I think the All-Stars, one of the changes is that we've split All-Stars and Legends this year, where typically they were kind of placed together, which I think the All-Stars are probably happy to not have some of these guys in their bracket. These guys here, though, is much harder for them this year.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, when we talk to the players straight up just saying this is one of the hardest lineups they've seen, Flamehopper moving very close in, taking a huge amount of damage to start things off, dropping all the way down to around 36. All that damage going to be coming out from Teenage. Teenage may try to engage here. One of the nice things with Flamehopper, when we actually did see Flamehopper outside of the vehicle, even the way he was moving, slightly strafing, just making sure if anyone did engage with him, he would be able to avoid a lot of that initial damage. But Teenage does find him inside of that police car and gets some serious damage done. Flamehopper should be able to heal up here without a problem, moving out in this police car, trying to put as much space between himself and Teenage.
Yeah, absolutely, and Viva going to find herself a free car. You can tell that it was not touched before because as she jumped in, she had the skin setting set different. So brand new car, 100% health, 100% gas on it, which is nice. She definitely would have preferred a Jeep or a cop car versus the pickup truck, but you prefer a vehicle over no vehicle every time. Symphony here from Team Caliber getting some shots thrown from Keebler off of World Best, and we have Moment coming in. Might run into Illusion. Illusion, a monster player out of the Asian region of the game. Absolute monster player. He used to play on the NA servers a lot too.
Yeah, well, Illusion right now seems very content just staying inside of this gas station. We actually saw this position being really strong yesterday. We saw Dr. Disrespect in a similar location. Haunted ran right into his shotgun. So Illusion, pretty content here, just hanging out. Gonna leave that door open, hoping that someone does try to contest. Having pretty decent odds here in what's in some cases can be a 50-50 inside of a building at close range. Jumping now back on board with Illusion. Okay, we're actually going to see Illusion try to rotate out here, getting into that cop car right away. Moman not going to follow, going to go inside of the gas station to see what scraps were left behind by Illusion. Aladdin letting a few shots out here.
Yep. We'd also missed our the second kill of the game, so Gas Runner from World Best Gaming going to get taken out there. We are on board with Aladdin over here in the junkyard area, still getting a little bit of loot. Aladdin, another guy that showed up big on land at DreamHack, and we've now got Noble Monster taking a few shots out towards Crumb. Doesn't look like he took any real shots at the car. It looks like he fired one off just to kind of let him know that he was there, and Crumb is going to go ahead and separate off, not take that fight, going to jump on board with Aqua, still getting looted up. We are still in the loot phase, so loot phase here with pros lasts a little bit longer than it does with the All-Stars. One of the things that changes is that All-Stars start hearing the gas go off and they start moving. These guys have a very, very good understanding of the pacing of the gas and how long they have, based if they're on foot or what car they're in, how soon they have to leave from the time that siren goes off to stay ahead of it. Or do they want to sit in the gas? They know exactly how long they can sit in the gas. Do they have the medical supplies to make it through? So we're going to see the early phase last a little bit longer with these guys than we did with All-Stars.
Yeah, that is a big thing. They know exactly how to ride the gas. When we watch something like All-Stars, you'll see players actually choking out. But one of the things that is going to be interesting, because we've seen it play out in a number of different ways, is going to be this drop right here. And right out of the gates, where you're going to see that hunting rifle has plummeted down into this arena.
Yep, and we've got Isco here, Charles PBF, two of the players that have traveled a long ways to get here. Isco coming out of South Korea, Charles coming all the way up from Brazil. I don't think we're going to see this fight, though. If they do notice each other, most likely they will disengage this early in the match. And we do have quite a bit of PV still in this early safe zone. So we'll have to see if it decides to pull out or if we end up in PV for the finish.
I would love to see a PV finish here, especially with the caliber of players.
None
of them want to see it, or none of them want to be in that scenario. Obviously very stressful. It is exactly what I want to see, though.
Yeah, it's definitely always fun to watch as the commentators and the spectators. I absolutely love watching it, but as a player that's put a lot of hours in with these guys, I feel the pain. It is a hard spot to try and play out of. There's a lot that goes into close range combat, so it's definitely a hard place to play out of. Sicko FPS going to throw a couple shots in the direction of Viva. Catches her once in her two-hit. Going to take it down to one shot left on it. She'll be able to get a heal off if she gets away.
You're definitely one of the guys, too, that does know the stressful situations to play in as well. I mean, we woke up this morning and you made me feel like I was going to have to solo cast. You said you wanted to try to jump into Legends.
I mean, I always want to play. I mean, this is a huge stage. This is an awesome spot to get to play, and I mean, they're definitely all excited to be here.
Yeah, definitely. You have so much prize money on the line as well. You can make a name for yourself if you haven't already. A lot of these guys already have with their tournament performances.
I'm just saying 80K would feel nice to go home with, so.
I have no idea what that would feel like, but I imagine it would be good. Now jumping on board.
You can see T-Hump here making a great decision. He's actually got a makeshift on. He's dropped his two-hit onto the ground there, so he's protecting the two-hit for later in the game. If he can keep that with him, he's going to pick it up. It doesn't have enough room in his bag, so he throws it on the ground, protects it from getting rid of early. So if he can get that and keep it with him all the way to the end game, it's definitely a lot better. The other thing is having it, if you have to traverse on foot through open field, having the two-hit on allows you a little bit more time to get to cover.
Yeah, the thing as well, when you see a player doing something like that, how aggressive do they want to be? Do they want to just try to sacrifice that one hit to then throw the two-hit on? Or do they still want to play more defensive even within that location?
It depends on the situation, which way they want to go with it. Most of these guys want to protect a two-hit. You're typically, especially with the way that the combat update is and a little bit longer delay on shot, you're not typically going to get just lasered to the chest 5 times at long range. So if you know you're going to be in a long range combat, you go ahead, throw it on the ground, wear the makeshift. If you think somebody's pushing at you, if he started to see a car come at him and he thought somebody was going to hop out on him in a close range encounter, he would immediately pick it up off the ground, and it'll switch that makeshift back into his backpack, and he'll be able to take it with him.
Now we are seeing some of these players trying to find good positioning here. Gas has already begun to spread. We're in that first ring right now. Loot phase starting to come to an end. It's definitely much longer with the Legends, with these professional players, but it is just about coming to an end here. Illusion trying to find a shot onto Flamehopper at very far range.
Yeah, absolutely. He's got a decent amount of loot here. He's got 200 rounds. He goes ahead, picks up a little bit more. He's got 232 rounds now, so he's feeling pretty good on the amount of loot that he has. Not sure what kind of makeshift materials he has. These guys are stacking him. They're trying to find extra tan military backpacks. They're trying to find duct tapes, extra helmets to break down. The other thing to note is that they carry a lot more helmets than people normally do. When you're in a game against guys that can two-tap you from any range, these guys are sacrificing ammo to carry more helmets to try and protect themselves from those situations.
Yeah, and they're also players that can do a lot more with the amount of ammo that they do have. You know, they don't need to just stockpile so they can get in these rifling matches. They can really make all of their bullets count here. Now we do see Flamehopper is going to have very good cover here for both him and his vehicle inside of this little divot. Bazaar going to be set up in this POI. A potential fight could go down between Flamehopper and Bazaar.
I don't think Flamehopper has any intent. After the amount of stream snipe challenges he's done, he's become a very squirrely player. He's good at getting out of dodge quick. He doesn't want to take any fights until that end game.
And you can see right now rotating in this police car, not even staying within this location, just trying to glean some more information, see where players are on this map.
Great spot to do it from. I mean, there's a ton of little ridges. He's basically protected all the way around. If he crouches, he can hide almost anywhere, letting players know he's aggressively defending it. He's not aggressively chasing fights, but he is letting people know, I am here, do not come here. Because most of these guys aren't going to want that close range fight either. So by letting them know that he's there, less chance of them pushing into him. Candy Van and Apex Shade, Pineapples in the fairgrounds here. Drop Kid over at the T-tent on that far side of the screen that we can see. This here is probably one of the most hectic ending zones you can possibly have. We had it happen on the CDS server recently, and we went from about 120 players left to 12 in 45 seconds to a minute and a half. It's complete chaos if it closes in on that.
One of the other things I do want to note about what we saw from Flamehopper, yeah, he is aggressively defending, but one of the additional bonuses that he can have when he actually does throw out those shots is maybe actually clipping into the vehicle, putting a little bit of damage in early on in the game. As you can see right now, Blood Inferno already taking about half damage on his vehicle. Eventually that will start to rack up, especially this early on in the game. That vehicle will lose its boost very soon and then start degrading even further. And as soon as you see that bad boy on fire, you need to get out of dodge quick.
I mean, a lot of these guys like to use the cop cars too. They're used to playing in public matches where you can kind of slam on the e-brake, get a hard turn, dead stop the car, hop out, get some good shots, get back in the vehicle. As it starts to degrade, it also loses its handling. So at a certain point, doing those hard 90-degree pivot turns in the car and making use of it that way, that option goes away.
And that can be absolutely crucial. I mean, that's one of those ways that you close space, you provide yourself with cover, you can actually get up and be aggressive, create scenarios where you can engage, knock players out. It's really strong if you are in one of those scenarios where you see someone in the kill feed that you really want to target. You know that you can come in for the potential pinch or try to get the engagement going while they are already at a disadvantage. So if you start to lose that handling, you are going to lose a huge amount of the value that you do get out of that cop car. And we can hear the sirens once again ringing out here, Supersonic.
Yeah, so this next gas wave is going to go ahead and take off, and we are at 73 remain, and as we said, it plays a little bit slower. The action comes in just a little bit later in the match than we were going to see in All-Stars, but when it does come out, people are going to drop faster because these guys miss far less shots than we saw in the All-Stars.
Yeah, it's not only that. Obviously, you are going to see those high level of shots, and I'm very excited to actually see what these players can do. These are the guys that are going to be most adjusted to the new kickback that we actually do see out of some of the rifles. They are going to be prepared to actually use that to their advantage, and they're also going to be prepared to try to maneuver around it. But the other thing that we are going to see out of these players is a higher map awareness. They are going to be trying to gather as much information as possible to actually know where the other players are so they can get into fights at prime situations. It kind of goes back to what we were just talking about with actually using different things like the cop car to try to come in for pinches, and that's going to make it, as soon as the powder keg gets lit, it is just going to be an all-out explosion, because you want to get in on that fight and actually try to collapse in and finish up somebody else's supper if they weren't able to take a member down. Now, with this new safe zone that we're seeing right here, what do you expect to see out of some of these players?
I mean, right now it is starting to center in on towards that spot we were talking about, where it's kind of chaotic over the fairgrounds there. There's a ton of players in that area. A lot of guys you're seeing here play a little bit different than what we saw yesterday too. We saw more people on the outside edge, where on the Legend side we're seeing guys play closer to the center so that they have a shorter distance to travel when they have to make it to the next safe zone. In case the safe zone pulls away from them, they don't want to have to travel quite as far. Especially guys on foot, they try to get to the middle. If you don't have a vehicle, you need to be able to get away. Vehicles in the middle typically get ripped apart. So having a vehicle in the middle of the safe zone doesn't always work out that well, and it looks like Doug is Raw is going in there, going after that airdrop. The bombs are coming through. He's going to move, narrowly missing the mark there. Bomb plane a little off target, and Doug does escape.
Do want to say too, this is one of those things that we saw a lot at DreamHack, the more standard go at that drop, and that is just investing as many smokes as possible, running in and trying to get out before anybody does engage. Yesterday when we watched in the All-Stars, we saw Karma just kind of bullying it, no one going for it, but now Doug is Raw getting some big shots into Flamehopper. Flamehopper going to flip over, and he might fall down. He is bleeding heavily, and Doug is Raw is in hot pursuit. Flamehopper going to be sent out of this one, and you can see Mountain FPS getting a little bit of work done there as well, but Doug is Raw being absolutely unrelenting, especially after picking up some loot out of that drop as well, investing those smokes.
Yeah, that car flipping definitely cost that one for Flame. It ended up making him stationary. No shots had really hit him until the car flipped. As soon as the car went upside down, though, Doug was able to just throw those shots into the window on the stationary target. Flame got out, and by that time he was already down to one shot. He had no option but to try and hop in the car to get away, but the car doesn't have boost. It doesn't take off quite as fast, so throwing shots into that front window, he's able to get that last shot in.
A big kill coming in for Doug Israel, but one of the things to note, like you were saying, he's not going to really be able to take that police car as an extra advantage because it's already pretty much below that threshold. It's not going to be that valuable there. We could see off screen for a second, P90 Princess seemed to be a little bit low. Aladdin maybe trying to collapse in there and get a kill. Doug is Raw now taking a little bit of damage. You can see body armor going to see just a little bit. Aladdin and P90 Princess now engaged in combat.
P90 trying to find him, looking for that shotgun kill possibly. Coming down into the smoke, first shot comes out, not going to connect. Aladdin going to get out of there on that ATV. Man, the stadium here is kind of nuts. Every time the shotgun goes off or you hear the alarm go off that the gas is coming or the bomb plane comes through, it really kind of thumps you in the chest.
It really does. It's not exactly the feel that you want to be having as one of these players here either, getting into that close range fight. B90 taking some serious shots right now. Body armor going to be knocked off, getting down in this gas, trying to stay low, but the damage is just going to be too much. Kyrie going to knock P90 Princess down.
Yeah, P90 hoping that the gas would push up far enough and make it dark enough. The farther back into the gas you are, the harder it is to see. Not quite far enough back. Kyrig was able to spot her still and get some shots off. And we've got Candy Van, Blood Inferno, Mountain FPS. I mean, you can see everybody starting to set up shop here. And this is where it gets really hectic. The guy closer to the center, I think, is probably the better positioning. We lose Viva Labad to stay lifted from Rogue.
Well, to be honest, this shot right now is just an omen of things to come. It looks terrifying. This is going to be an absolute carnival of carnage when we do see this ring collapse more and more. Already seeing some of the fiercest competitors' names on the screen when we take that look overhead, but jumping on board with Stormin right now, trying to see if he can find some of that ideal positioning to prepare for a fight. Walking into this building very cautiously, actually going to find some ammunition here as well. But you can see already having a relatively high amount of ammunition, not necessarily wanting to pick up more, most likely trying to hold on to helmets, as you've already alluded to. Just so many two-taps can come in from names like this, but an Mountain FPS going to let out a few shots from this window. Already seeing the location of Blood Inferno.
You can see he's gone ahead, dropped his AK. It must have had a Magnum in there as an option, swaps the Magnum on, and is just trying to eat up the vehicle. So like I was saying, the center of this is probably the best, because if it centers on this spot, everybody's going to have to come in from the outside. The guys holding the outside buildings are most at risk of having to get into a close range fight. If you're closer to the middle, there's a little, at least the guy rolling in the car isn't going to drive smash into a bunch of buildings and then hop out. But there's so many little nooks and crannies that you have to keep track of in here. All the little pop-up stores, all the little different portions of it all have a doorway in that you can hide behind. So there's just so many spots to hide in there. It's going to be chaotic if it does close.
It's really hard to find that pocket, and like you said, a lot of them aren't going to have a lot of them will have multiple entrances. Body armor going to be knocked off of Doug Israel. Doug Israel has been playing absolutely incredibly thus far. Going to play defensively here. Needs to get some body armor for that additional protection. We saw some of those shots actually raining out from the Magnum a little bit earlier. We haven't seen too much of that weapon recently. Really strong in scenarios against vehicles.
Yeah, absolutely. It just powers through vehicles. It eats them alive. So definitely a strong one. We're here on board with Lifted. Couple nice little rocks here. These spots work out really well, especially in a pinch. You can kind of set yourself between two rocks if somebody's shooting from two different sides, like 180 degrees out from each other. You can place yourself in a lot of different spots to cut those angles. Not a bad spot to hold. It looks like thought he was going to go ahead and take off in his vehicle there. Going to hang out here a little bit longer. Adrian driving by. He's going to throw out a couple shots towards Adrian. Try and eat away at the resources, which is what we've seen Bizarre doing actually to Doug is Raw over there. We've cut to him a couple times, and he's slowly just kind of eating away and taking that 2-hit off of him. So we'll see if the war of attrition ends up working out for him.
Yeah, Bizarre has kind of been in that type of situation throughout the entirety of the game. You can really see Bizarre trying to find situations like that, whether it's putting a couple shots into a vehicle, taking a 2-hit away, will definitely be one of those things where even if you don't get the kill, obviously the kill's flashy, you want to get the kill, you want to be in the highlight reel, and you also want to try to go for the $5,000. But every resource that you take away, that just makes it that much easier for someone to go down in the fight, and you can move that much further up in the remaining players. Right now, 69 players will remain, and the ring is starting to get very tight. We are going to have an absolute... The kill feed's just going to explode. Let's be honest. The kill feed's going to absolutely explode at some point.
It always does in these types of matches, and that's one of the things that's so exciting for me about this style of an esport, is that it plays out so much different. You get to watch the tension build. You kind of get to see the story of each player as they play their way through the map, and then the ending just ends up... It's just always a glorious bloodbath at the end.
I like really being able to see the thought as well. I mean, you can already see the different play styles in this type of situation in the early phases of the game. Right now, jumping on with another member of World's Best, taking a little bit of damage from that gas in a fight with Cloak.
Gas nade on gas damage. Jordy going to have to back up a little bit off of that gas nade farther into the gas, but he does see it coming. He's going to be able to rotate around. Still very early in the game. He can kind of sit through the gas and out heal it. However, you have to keep rolling bandages. So this is basically War of Attrition still. Cloak is making him use all of his healing. Omni Seal is going to go down elsewhere on the map to Calzy, but this is just eating up healing for Jordy. Also, he's building up toxicity onto his body. So as that toxicity goes up, and we've got shots from Isco coming out, and Isco gets extremely low, but he's going to be able to turn that one around and take down Gotaga. But as you're going through and healing yourself up, you're just eating away at the bandages, and then the toxicity builds up and it starts doubling the damage of the gas. Gas every wave hurts
Cloak
more,
trying
toxicity
to
doubles it.
Yeah, exactly. Cloak trying to do a good job of actually checking behind, and we are going to see that smoke go out as well. It looks like Cloak going to try to move back just a little bit. Jordy now outside of the gas, going to instantly be greeted by an absolute storm of bullets moving back into the gas right now, getting those bandages rolling, but toxicity, as you mentioned, will be a huge factor moving forward. Cloak has that truck, going to use it to get in better location here. Now he's going to have more defense from the players not on that line of the gas.
Cole J and Mig here hanging out, checking each other. Mig throwing a couple warning shots, trying to pre-fire that corner in case Cole J decides to chase. We are going to lose Nightwalker to Rhino elsewhere on the map. Looks like he may have gotten pinched between Rhino and Huskers. Jordy extremely low. Cloak still just trying to eat away at him. Can't get that final shot. Looks like Jordy does find the safe spot and manages to lay down for a second. As Cloak backs off, Jordy's going to be able to run inside and get healed up if he does have any healing left. I'm surprised the guy hasn't had to shred his shirt and pants yet to keep making bandages.
Yeah, I think the thing that we see out of Cloak, too, is he kind of knows he missed his shot there. He doesn't necessarily need to be aggressive and engage at this moment. But right now, Kyrie going to find himself in a very bad fight, and he is going to be taken down by Memo. But one of the things that we actually
steals it from boxes there.
That was actually a beautiful steal, and that is important when we do have that additional 5K on the line as well. But that's one of the things that you really do see with Cloak, is he's one of these guys back in the day really known as just being an absolutely crazy sniper. He knows if you miss your shot, sometimes you don't need to get aggressive again. The opportunities will come up as well, and even though you maybe didn't get the kill, you still did win the fight.
Yeah, I mean, you still won it. I mean, he took a ton. We talk about attrition. He took a ton of resources away from Jordy. Jordy had to use a ton of bandages. He had to use med kits there. If he had any makeshifts, he wasn't making any more, so he was out of materials. He was eating through everything that Jordy had, just keeping him in the gas while building toxicity onto Jordy, so that in the late game, Jordy doesn't have that option to rotate back into the gas.
Isco now, we've seen quite a bit out of Isco, already picking up a kill here. One of the 63 players that do remain. Not many players have gotten into fights yet, but soon that will change with gas spreading at the rate that it will be now. Carta going to get the first kill of the game. Rizar helping out just a little bit there. Yep. Monster behind this truck.
Proc's going to go down to Cole J elsewhere on the map. Proc, somebody that showed up really big on land in DreamHack, but he is going to get himself eliminated there in 62nd on game 1. We'll expect him to come back strong in the second game. T-Hump getting shots fired on him from Monster, and he gets a couple connections into him.
Yeah, beautiful shots actually coming out from Monster there. Quite far range as well, about 150 meters off. Going to try to close this space right now with the Jeep. We'll have to see how aggressive. Not going to go all the way up. Still going to keep this as a rifling fight. Rotating just a little bit more. T-Hump going to throw out that smoke. Throwable going to be tossed in there as well. Yeah, you don't know the location. Spook him out of the smoke. Just go ahead and use that grenade, and we are going to see T-Hump do just that. But Monster going to get absolutely lit up here. Pinch coming in just a little bit. It's going to be Chipsy. The kill's going to get picked up by Chipsy as well. And just like that, Ricky going to be able to take down Jeesh.
Yeah, I mean, he played a little aggressive there against T-Hump, got a little kill hungry, chased out of the spot, allowed Chipsy to push up in, while T-Hump tossed a nade out of the smoke and blew up his vehicle, leaving him with nowhere to go and extremely low health off that explosion. So a little too much aggression there on that kill chase.
And now, once again, we are going to the portents of doom. It is going to be this fairground, and you can just see more and more big names hanging out here, and it is just going to be death is going to ensue very soon. You can see Drazzle has joined the fight there, and now the ring is going to be tighter than ever with still 58 players remaining. Grimmy Bear going to put in some shots. Carter going to get down Isco. We saw Isco just a little while ago. Additional shots from Grimmy Bear were able to do most of that work.
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen that circle looks like it could possibly pull out of the fairgrounds, which now causes an interesting thing. There's so many corridors and little nooks and crannies you can walk through, is now if it does pull off of it, now we got to watch everybody try and get out of these positions that they thought they were going to be able to just go and sit in for the whole match. So a lot of these guys are going to have to try and rotate out. We do have some gas and smoke nades coming down in this fight between Dropped and Sharima, two legend players, obviously.
Cloak is taken out.
Gonna get taken out by Doug is raw.
Yeah, Cloak is gonna get dropped out right now. And when I actually talked to Cloak before we jumped in, one of the players he was saying he was the most scared of was Drop. We are gonna see Drop lose his body armor there, get some good shots, and Stream a Wizard up in this fight by quite a few shots, able to clean up without a problem. Adrian going to be in that corner of your screen as well in that kill feed, taking down Doug is raw. It is clear at this point in the match that the stage is set. We are either going to have that fairgrounds finish, and we're going to see absolute chaos, or we're going to see an exodus out of there and players just getting picked off as they move out from their homes that they have set up in during this match. We've seen that play out before in different things like city finishes. Jerk Chicken going to take some serious damage here as well. Shots still coming in. He is down about 2 shots in this fight, but just like that, starts to close the space onto Aqua, moving into the smoke right now, trying to find better positioning, does not want to be fighting more than one player here. More shots going to rain out. He can take about 2 more here. He still does have that helmet on. Moving into the fence is actually going to invest a shot here to get a little bit further away from his target, potentially moving inside of this building, taking it to a short range fight. Really smart play there, being slightly down in shot count. Aqua going to be inside of this shower.
Yeah, I mean, Jerk absolutely just turned on Aqua and forced him off of him, but 2 other players did try to get involved and into the fight with him. Jerk got into the backyard, had to get away from the fence, and we are going to see this fight continue, and Aqua with the head tap, gonna drop Jerk Chicken, and we're going to see Jordy, another WGP player, elsewhere on the map, take down Teenage, and we're going to lose Candy Van to Da.
It's starting to happen. We are down to 51, and we are going to be losing more very soon. Smoke gets traded out. Howie desperately trying to stay alive. Aladdin putting out a few shots here, seeing 50 Shades. Moving up closer right now, investing another throwable to close that space. This time it's going to be the gas. We're going to see Jordy go down to the toxic gas here. An explosion going to ring out. Another 2 going down. Aqua sees the blood in the water, gets the shots in, needs about 2 more to finish this one off.
Yeah, Aqua now going to have to try and get out of this gas. He does have Moment in the gas behind him, though. Going to outrun it. CLG, Grimmy Bear going to take down Carta with a little bit of an assist from Memo. I believe Memo's probably still sitting on top of that same building in the fairgrounds. Aqua coming out, throwing a couple shots. I don't know that he knows that Moment's behind him. Mini extremely low, gets the 1 pump into Mig. Mig going to get dropped. Mini hopping into that patriotic Jeep. Going to start getting healed up. Swaps to the extra seat. That's something that we didn't see yesterday. T-Hump gonna get found in the smoke by Aladdin. Aladdin getting that elimination. Memo gonna find boxes. Kevy gonna get dropped, and Adrian also gonna go down.
Desperate shots coming out in the smoke, going to connect. But we have so many scenarios here where players are actually in the gas and they do not see their surroundings. Crank going to be able to pick up a kill. We are going to see the King rotating around right now, trying to stay away from that gas. Crank in this fight right now, may be able to take down Aladdin, one of our top finishers from DreamHack. Letting out a few shots through this smoke, can't actually see the target. This smoke is just so thick here, but we'll find Aladdin. Able to take him out is Crank. Crank now needs to find some better positioning here out in the wide open. Going to put out the smoke right now to make sure to actually get that loot from the kill. Drazzle invested into this fight with Memo. Has a wall between him. Has the shotgun. Might be able to get this kill, but Drazzle will go down to Memo.
It's always an awkward moment when you're laying in the smoke and the smoke nade fades out and you're stuck there. It's not a good feeling.
It is not a good feeling at all. We can actually start to see some of the players moving off the stage right now. They are not out of it yet, though. If they were taken down, they will have 2 more games to try to get these placement matches. But our top 36 are going to be the players that we are focused on because they are still competing for the most amount of points that they can. Whoever gets the top kills here as well will be pulling down an additional $5,000 for this match. And right now, we can already see, still in the position where we left him, up with the gas as an additional option for cover.
Yeah, absolutely. Cole J here holding off this side with the smoke nade. It looks like there was one person out there to his right side. We saw a ton of players just get eliminated. I mean, we went from about 60 players down to 35 in a heartbeat. Sweet Dreams here getting a couple shots on him. This was our winner from DreamHack Atlanta, and it looks like he may have had a shot come into him from Mini. He keeps checking that car. We were talking about this earlier, guys, looking into the car to try and find it. Loses his helmet from the side. It looks like Howie probably ended up giving Mini a little bit of help there and takes the helmet off, forces Sweet Dreams off the shot. Sweet not able to get that kill, and we are going to lose Symphony elsewhere on the map, but Sweet Dreams is now got his attention turned towards Howie. Shots going into Howie and the vehicle. Howie going to get out of there. Mini does end up finally bleeding out to Sweet, so he still gets the call, still gets the kill and drop, trying to blow up another car, gets a kill onto Gorani.
We are going to see dropped right now. A lot of the players saying one of the scariest players to play against in this competition. Just wreaking havoc here inside of the smoke. We will see Huskers trying to move about, but dropped is found by quite a few players here. Huskers going to fall down to Flame. Now Drop just staying inside of this car. Gonna pop out here, going to try to take this fight with Lifted inside of the police car as well. A few shots going to connect into the vehicle. Beyond the threshold right now at 37. Another 2 players going to fall down. Only 23 do remain. Getting some shots into the Jeep. It will flip. And now this is going to be enough of a weakness to try to take down Apex Shay. Apex Shay does manage to flip it. Gets out of the car yet again. Has to actually throw down the smoke to move away. Dropped, going to take quite a bit of damage here. Seeing both Grimmy and now jumping on board. We will go just in time to see that kill picked up.
Harry Frogbat gonna get eliminated by that gas kill. Gonna be given out to Chipsy Doe. Crumb gonna go down to Bizarre. We are down to 14. And Da gonna get taken down in 14th by Juan Korea. We can see dropped Apex Shay. Everybody else out here out in front of us, and we're going to lose Lifted to Dropped.
Dropped still hanging on here.
11 left.
Now has this police car as well. You can see right now in this smoke and this gas, no visibility. Shots still raining out into the darkness. Stormin going to be able to get this kill here. Needs to find one more to find some semblance of safety before this powder cake absolutely explodes. It's going to be Rizar completely healthy, moving around this tent, trying to find Stormin. Now inside of the gas, Stormin can't see out. Shots still going to be fired. Stormin going to invest another throwable here, may connect into Rizar. Rizar right into the flames, but is going to find Stormin and take him down. Rizar now needs to get healthy. You can see that Sweet Dreams is in the wings. We'll be able to see that fire from there. 3 smokes still down, 4 smokes down with players inside. 50 Shades and Blood Inferno in a demolition derby here. Dropped, going to be outside of the car, has a good vantage point to see all of the players here getting those grenades. You know, just use everything you have at this point in the game. Jumping out of the car is going to be Pineapples. Haven't seen much of him yet, and we are going to see that explosion come in. Apex Shay goes down. Pineapples traded out to Chipsy. Only 7 are left here, Supersonic, and now Drop going to get these shots in. 50 Shades tries to steal the car in style, but Dropped is able to eliminate him.
Yeah, Dropped absolutely going off. I believe he is our top kills of the game. Currently, Chipsy getting lit up, though. Both players at 1 shot. Shots coming at Chipsy from another angle. We'll see if Drop decides to take this. He needs to stop and heal. Stepping up, though. He wants it. Chipsy gonna be able to get that shot, though. Dropkick goes down. We are down to 5 players remain. Sweet Dreams was on the assist there, so Sweet still in the game as well. Blood Inferno just driving around, and we're gonna see shots come out and Sweet actually gets eliminated right there by Rizar out of the car with the shotgun.
Chipsy now actually has been moved up to 7 kills here, may be able to just pull down this additional 5K. 4 players do remain, all of them inside of the smokes, hanging out in their own corner. Who will be the first to move out here and try to get that top 3 finish? Rizar very healthy, Chipsy behind the car, an absolute slayer with 7 kills. Blood Inferno not able to heal up yet. We can see the shots moving into the cop car. And just like that, a grenade is going to be able to come out from Rizar and blow up that vehicle. Chipsy will go down with 7 kills. Should be able to still take this 5K here. Blood Inferno inside of the gas. We can see both the smoke and the gas are going to be his cloak right now. Bizarre letting these shots rain out into Blood Inferno. Very weak right here. Should be able to take this one, but Blood Inferno moving up close is able to take him down.
He gets the assist from Rizar. Blood Inferno barely left alive here. Rizar in full health. Not sure if he has a vehicle. He could decide to take the option to go ahead and press it. Grenades coming out from Rizar. It's going to blow up the vehicle. Blood Inferno has to heal. Rizar going to step up, and he is going to take down Game 1 of the Legends Invitational.
Clean finish coming in from Rizar. Take a look at your champion. That is going to be absolutely huge moving forward throughout the day. A monumentous amount of points have been gained, but congratulations to Chipsy for pulling in those 7 kills as well. He's going to be able to get that 5K and also having a pretty decent placement here when we move out throughout the day. So this is only going to be our first game. We are going to see 3, and it is going to be a cumulative point system. Let's actually take a look at the results and see where all the players do stand right now. Supersonic, what a great way to kick this off. I'm excited to see the results.
I mean, I don't know that they like the ending that it went to, but that was absolutely a blast to watch, and we are going to see Rizar take down that first place. Blood Inferno coming in second, Bizarre in third. Ton of guys in here. We see Sweet Dreams, Dropped, and Stormin all showing up, making it into the top 10 off of Rogue. We've got names like Pineapple, Apex Shade, and Chipsy all in this as well. Yeah, Chipsy, 7 kills. I'm almost, there's no way that anybody else got more than 7 kills. I'm pretty sure he got the 5K.
Chipsy was able to take this one. Chipsy does get the 5K here, but the other player to really keep an eye on is going to be Dropped as well, because Dropped is able to pick up 6 kills here. A lot of players just saying Dropped is going to be an insane player, already proving that Dropped is a slayer. So both our 4th and 6th place here, picking up a monumentous amount of kills. Excited to see what these players can do, but I'm so excited to hear a few words from Rizar. Rizar on the floor right now with Kelly.